everybody. Happy Tuesday. And if yesterday you happened to watch the show, my buddy over here, Mr. Amadeus, made you a lot of money. So you're welcome. Amadeus, what a day.
Oh yeah, it was a great day. I went 6-2-1 with premium plays, but just even the free plays alone, we gave out for baseball. We had the Royals, the Yankees, the Rays, and the over in the Padres game. So
Mhm.
just a solid night all around.
Well, I'll tell you what, we talked about the UConn and San Diego State game, saying that San Diego couldn't play their game, couldn't play UConn's game. What we ended up learning was that UConn could play San Diego's game, but San Diego couldn't play UConn's game. UConn has some great defense, and really had a wonderful thing going there for a while. And they got to 8 points, and I thought, well, okay, maybe. But sometimes when you've got a deficit like that, you work so hard to get to the 8 points that you're spent when you get there. You can't finish it. The reason UConn has the depth that San Diego State didn't have, but that most importantly to me yesterday, I'll get obviously what your feelings on it. They're tall. You can't teach tall. So they were getting block shots. It wasn't that San Diego wasn't trying. It was that they couldn't get through the block shots and through. When you've got length, you've got arm length, which means you can grab a ball that maybe they could get. You could knock a ball away from them. It was just one of those things where it was a very frustrating night if you're San Diego State, because they really only have 2 or 3 guys who can score. The kind of scoring you have to have when you're playing a team like UConn. But,
yeah, and once again, we saw San Diego State was forced to shoot from the perimeter. So that is not their game. And as you touched on with the size, that's their game, is playing in the paint. And every time they were in the paint, it's just like whoever had the ball was getting mountained over by these UConn players. They just had the size advantage on them, and San Diego State couldn't really do much.
Well, it's tough. San Diego State doesn't play an in game anyway. But here's the thing that I thought was odd. If you're gonna play a good center, okay, let's say, we'll say going back in time, we'll go Patrick Ewing or Alonzo Mourning or somebody like that. I've been told numerous times by many different coaches, you want to front them up because you can see where they are. You don't want to back into them, because if you're backing into them, you don't know whether, the guy's got you guarded a little more to the left or a little more to the right. Where can you put the ball up? Take them front on, and then, if you're going to drive to the basket, drive left, drive right, wherever you're going, go. But never, if you've got a height disadvantage, don't back anybody, because you're not going to win that. Because the guy behind you knows where you're going. You don't know where he's going. So that was a problem for them this year, for San Diego.
Yeah, definitely.
They kept backing people up, and you're like, no, stop that. Turn around.
Yeah, and like I said, it was just one of those games where they got forced to shoot the 3, and that's not their game. They were making some of their shots, but it was a big thing, and they weren't rebounding well. So all around, UConn was the more dominant team, and they really showed it. They won every game by double digits in the tournament. So,
well, fancy you should ask, because they are right now they are the odds-on favorite to win next year. Opening futures at Caesar Sportsbook for the 2024 NCAA tournament pegged UConn and UCLA at 12-1 odds. Although
UCLA is an interesting one. I know they were injured this year, but I don't know. There's a lot of games they didn't look great in.
Well, there are a lot of games they played tight. UConn is you've got Duke at 20. No, wait, I'm sorry. Here it is. Okay. Kansas 15-1, Duke at 16, Kentucky at 18-1, Arizona at 21-1. Just knock that one off. Arizona,
Yeah, they're not going anywhere.
Houston and Purdue at 22-1, Marquette, Alabama, Creighton at 25-1. Those are your best bets for the futures. Knock Arizona off that list. I think put UCLA's. I would put UCLA more 20. I would think than 16, but okay. I don't see Houston and Purdue. I mean, that's just nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. Purdue was a team I thought was overrated all year because like
Right.
they were ranked #1 for a lot of the season, and they played in a terrible Big Ten conference.
Yeah.
Just absolutely no competition there. I don't know how you can even consider that a strong conference with the teams that were there.
Right.
But yeah, so definitely not UConn though. I'm surprised they're their favorite. Well, I guess I'm not surprised they're the favorite, but do you really want a team to repeat? That's it's a tall task.
It is. It is. And I guess because they're young, I think that's one of the things that's pushed them there. We've got Marquette, Alabama, and Creighton all at 25-1. I don't know. Shaka Smart and Marquette's a good coach. Bama played basically with both hands tied behind their back from a standpoint of what they had on and off the court issues. And Creighton played well in the tournament. They did. But you're asking all of those teams to do something they haven't done. I mean, we don't see Marquette, we don't see Alabama, and we don't see Creighton year after year in the NCAA tournament.
Well, what would you have said last summer if I told you?
No,
that,
you're 100% right. Okay, but where's San Diego State on this?
Oh well, a lot of their guys are 5th and 6th years, so
Yeah.
that's a big factor too. I guess they're not sure if they're going to stay or not.
Okay, we don't. I'll tell you what, we don't see Gonzaga in this either, and I guess that's why they really a lot of guys
because they're going to lose. I guess Timmy and probably a few other players. But yeah, what if it's been a crazy year? Like, what if I had told you last summer that Alabama football team wasn't going to make the college football playoffs, but the Alabama basketball team was going to be the #1 team in the country for a good majority of the year? What would you have said?
I would have said, you're a really wonderful guy, but this is nuts.
Yeah. And it was wild to see. I still can't believe that the Alabama football team is on decline, and then you got the basketball team as one of the best in the country now.
And
they weren't good last year too. Like they really weren't a good team last year.
It's really, to me, interesting that what we watched might very well be the beginning of the mid-majors and the fringe teams becoming more powerful because of the portal. In basketball, I mean, we've heard a ton of it in college football, right? That's all you hear. Got the guy in the portal, got the guy in the portal. They're not talking about, I mean, you have to overhaul a 50-person roster in football, okay? In basketball, you got 5 guys. So you bring, with the kid that was a star player for UConn, one of the star players for UConn, came from East Carolina in the transfer portal. They brought 2 guys in from the transfer portal from other schools. And so you're seeing that and you're like, okay, now what? And there were other teams. San Diego State did it. They got guys from the portal. So I think that what we're seeing is coaches understanding that guys who are either not getting the playing time that they want, or they got to wait because the guy in front of them's good or whatever. Maybe just looking and saying, all right, keep an eye, see if this guy's headed for the portal. If he is, we're going to grab him as quick as we can.
Yeah, and even Sanogo was a player who he was debating playing in France or even coming to the U.S. at all. So,
well, and they got that kid from Storrs, Connecticut. I'm sorry, from Bristol, Connecticut. So they even have a homegrown kid. So
A little
good
bit
on
of
them.
everything.
Yeah, good on them. And
But yeah, I think it's a great point you bring up with the portal, because not only is it helping to you see more parity across
yeah,
both the sports for all college sports, but I think another thing that, along with the NIL
mhm,
deals, is really forcing a lot of these older coaches who have been coaching, 20 plus, 40 plus years. Notice now in the last 2 years, you're getting all those guys starting to retire, like, uh, the obviously Coach K,
Boeheim.
Jay Wright, yeah, Bayheim now, and then you had I'm trying to remember for the football who it was, but yeah, you're getting all these. I think Saban might be even done soon at Alabama, and I think it's a big reason because of the portal and the NIL deals. A lot of these older coaches don't want to stick around anymore. They're just kind of done with it.
You know, well, they weren't built for that.
Yeah,
In fairness, I mean,
that's what it is, right? You've done something the same way for the last 20
right.
years, and then
And
now
now
all of a
you've got
sudden,
to deal with it. You know, I can just see, and I can see because I know Nick Saban not well, but I know him. I can just see some kid, some maybe the AD or maybe one of his recruiting guys, right? One of his chief recruiters comes in and said, "Coach, we can get this quarterback. We just need to get him, about $2 million with NIL money." And I can just see Saban looking at it and going, "Tell the kid to go to Auburn. We're not paying for players. They don't want to play for Alabama, then I don't want them."
yeah, and he's already declined two players because
Yeah,
of that.
yeah.
So,
Kirby Smart at Georgia, same thing. It's like, they don't want to play here. That's fine.
okay,
Find
we're
a
not
place.
we're not here to make you money. We're here to build you as a football player so you can go play a professional career
Right.
and make that money that you want.
I mean,
Still got to work for it.
Stovis, the kid who started off at USC, right, is went to quarterback at Pitt, figuring he'd take, Kenny Pickett's place. He had a decent season. The team had a decent season. He didn't like it. So he's back in the portal again. So it's like, how many teams are you going to play for? Auburn gave up on the kid that's, the kid's name at Oregon?
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix. They gave up on Bo Nix. Got in the portal. He's running for the Heisman. I love these people who say, you got to have a presence in a state to recruit. The quarterback for Michael Penix, the quarterback for Washington, okay, is a kid from Tampa Bay Tech. That's a 6-hour flight. You can go to, we've already established this. You can go to London faster, okay? So this thing that you have to have some sort of network in a state with the portal is no longer the way it is. It's, show me a reason why I can be your starting quarterback and I will come and hopefully it'll work out for us.
Yeah, and you know what? It's good for the players too, because
Oh, yeah.
obviously, if you're treating it like Slovis, you're not going to get 100% out of the portal. But someone like Penix that you just mentioned, he entered the portal to go follow the coach and the
Right,
system, which he played
right.
well in.
Mhm.
And look, he had a much better season last year. So it all goes towards, it's about using the portal the right way.
Yeah,
That's,
and the other part of it, which I think sometimes gets overlooked, is that excuse me, when USC, hired the Oklahoma coach to take over, and he says, "Fine, I'll bring my quarterback with me." How many times have we seen this, right, where coaches are fired and a new coach is coming in, runs a totally different system. The quarterback, the running backs, the wide receivers, whatever, they're all there. They're going, "Oh, not only am I going to have to learn a new system, this guy may not even want me as a quarterback or a running back or a wide receiver." So normally, and this is why I say I'm, You're the expert on gaming, okay? That's you on that. But if I were someone who did that on a regular basis, I would watch the portal constantly because that's going to change the dynamic of the team if you're in college sports. So, you know, check where these guys are going because it's gonna be wild. Gonna be wild. But
Oh yeah, definitely.
you know, meanwhile, back at the Major League Baseball level, the Rays, who you picked yesterday, are 4-0 and rolling along. Of course, it doesn't hurt that you open the season against Detroit and Washington, so that's going to help pad your stats. But have you gotten to see anything in the way of baseball this year so far?
I've been watching. I think I've watched most of the Blue Jays games.
How are they this season?
Their pitching is terrible.
Well, that was the case last year, so
that's what I mean, right? Like I've seen no changes. It's like a completely other than well, I mean, I guess the rotation is the same, but a lot of I don't know. We changed up the bullpen a bit, and like I don't know, it's still bad. Everything is just bad, and it was funny because so they scored 10 runs in the first game, and they've lost every game since then. And in that first game, George Springer broke a record. He's the first Blue Jay in history to get 5 hits on opening day. He went 5 for 6.
Wow.
Bichette went something like crazy like that too. And then both of them went like 0-9 the next 3 days throughout that series. So yeah, not impressed from what I see from the Blue Jays. Their offense is really cold right now, and the pitching in general. Barrios is still a gas can. Manoah looks like he's finally due for some regression after 2 outstanding debut seasons. Who man, I'm like forgetting the lineup already. Gossman was probably arguably the best pitcher, and he still gave up runs. So we need a guy that is gonna help us. I still think Manoah is gonna be decent this year. I think he'll probably bounce back. And today we have Kikuchi, who could basically not just light the field on fire, but the entire building on fire. I went to see a lot of his games last year. Well, not a lot of his games, but a lot of the games I went to see, he was the pitcher. So I got to see a lot of losses, but I think he's going to be better this year. I think he might be the Blue Jays' best pitcher. Actually, he's pitching today, so we'll find out. But I think Kikuchi is. I think he's made some big improvements, and I could see him shutting out the Royals today.
Well, that'd be good. I mean, this, the Royals are not royalty. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like the Nationals and the Tigers.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate having them around as the Nationals fan in hopes that we don't have to, be as bad as they are.
And besides, Bobby Witt Jr., who's clearly their future, they gave away like everybody. They gave us Whit Merrifield. They gave Benintendi to what was it, the Yankees, I think.
Right, yeah.
So this is what I mean. Like they got rid of half their lineup last year.
And it's like, oh well, don't worry about that. It's really annoying at times like that when you're sitting there going, okay, wait just a second. Marquise Noel, by the way.
Kansas State player, right?
Yeah, shout out to Marquise Noel. He received Westwood One, which was the folks doing the radio for the national championship game, their tournament player of the year.
That's what the Manhattan local radio or something like that, right?
Well, no, they're the Westwood One is it's a national radio network that does sports. They do NFL football. They do college basketball, obviously college football, the Masters. I mean, they're so Westwood One is a network.
Okay, I hear a lot of them when I'm watching like the New York sports news and stuff like that. So that's where I've heard it, but I've never actually.
I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure you've heard something on Westwood that was Westwood One on a New York station. That's probably the way it goes. But they did it, and actually, it's funny. I tweeted it out this morning, and I got a retweet from Marcus, who basically said he didn't see it. It's like, you got it. How did you not see it? I guess Westwood One had inadvertently forgot to mention it to him.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe he meant like he found out through your tweet, and he's like, "What the hell?" I won this award.
Right.
It's like when the coach finds out on Twitter that he got fired
Right.
while he's on the golf course, and he's like, "What the
Right.
hell just happened? I don't have a job now."
Right. I should not have been playing that $10 Nassau. But,
God, I'm gonna need that beer back, Tom.
yeah,
Give me that $12 back.
that tip we gave the caddy, I need that money back.
You're gonna have to carry my clubs today.
Right. I'll carry your clubs. So yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, that was one of those. Oops, there it is.
Yeah, well, shout out to the Manhattan kid, Marquise.
Yeah,
He was the man for Kansas State. I expect him to be good still next year.
yeah, he is. He's gonna be good.
Yeah, they were a team I was riding early in the year because I was like, this team's unranked, and I think they're going to be good this season. And sure enough, because at the time they were something like 9-3 against the spread, and sure enough, they finished the season with one of the best covering records. It was on something almost close to 70%. So,
well, the Big 12 has got a monster, lineup of basketball teams, and if you can run that gauntlet, you've done yourself proud. And Kansas State had a heck of a team. I mean, you have to wonder, if they weren't even better than Baylor and some of those other guys that that played less. But
oh, definitely,
they got it to the Elite Eight, so that wasn't a bad trip.
And Jerome Tang kills me. He's like the Mike Tomlin of the college basketball scene with some of the quotes he gives. Oh my God. There was literally a quote I saw. He was asked about like something about how the team is playing so well and like what is it, right? And his actual response was, "It's dudes. We got dudes. Everybody thinks it's all about the coaching and all that stuff. It's dudes."
Well, did you see Larinaga? Basically, one of the reasons the guys were crazy about Larinaga is after they win, it's now tradition. It was tradition that he would do a little dance, and each time it would be a different dance, and they would tell him what type of dance they got to pick, and so he would learn it. It's like a TikTok dance or something like that. So Larinaga would learn his dance. And so by the time they got to the Final Four, it's like when Larinaga, when they won that one game to get up to the Final Four, Larinaga's doing this dance, and the entire team comes in and joins him in the dance situation. It's like, hey, look, whatever you can do to get the players to go. But I do like that, and I think that what we're finding out, exactly what you said earlier about Saban, is that in college basketball, I honestly think in college basketball more than any other sport, you have to like the coach, or you have to really want to play for that coach. I mean, you can't like Bobby Knight when Bobby Knight was coaching, but you wanted to play for him. Okay, you knew what you're getting yourself into. Pitino, Calipari. I mean, some of these guys, you want to play for them. It's like in the NBA, you want to play for Popovich, or you want to play for Steve. Why am I blanking? The coach in Golden State, Nash.
Oh, Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr, not Nash.
Yeah, he was fired earlier.
Yeah,
Kevin Durant got him fired and left the team.
Yeah, thanks. Bye. Yeah, another burned coach. Both of them are gone from there. But anyway, playing for a coach, I think is really, and that personality is really important.
Yeah, a lot of these coaches have personalities behind the scenes, and like you wouldn't guess it from staring at them. Like I've heard your buddy Nick Saban is into D's nuts jokes. So like,
oh God, Saban is actually a funny person.
Oh, he's hilarious when I see him in the Aflac commercials.
Yeah, with Dion, Coach.
Now they got Coach K doing it.
It's funny. My friend, I think I probably told you. My friend Dave Sims got the job in the Mariners job because he's been doing a job of with Sirius Satellite Radio doing Coach K's weekly radio show, which basically talks about a lot of stuff which has nothing to do with basketball for 20 years. And so Coach K is definitely one of those guys who has got a sense of humor, not on the court, but off the court. Yeah, sense of humor. And same thing with Saban. Saban's best friend is Belichick.
Oh,
Go figure.
yeah, I'm sure Belichick has somewhat of a personality behind closed doors.
When I first got to this area, I was visiting um, Johns Hopkins, and they were playing lacrosse. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a Southern boy. We don't know lacrosse. Um, but when I got up here, they showed me lacrosse. So I was invited to go and sit over in the bench area and watch um, uh, the lacrosse, Johns Hopkins lacrosse team play. One of the best in the country, they consistently are. And sitting it's not, I was going to say 2 seats down from me, but it's really not because it was just a bench. So sitting 2 spaces down from me on the bench was Bill Belichick. And I'm sitting there going, I said, Coach, how you doing? He said, fine. I don't know him. I'm just saying I'm strike up. I knew who he was. And so I said, what you doing? The coach at Johns Hopkins was a friend of his, and he loves lacrosse. And he
Oh,
happened to be
there you go.
recruited.
Go
He happened to
figure.
be speaking in DC, and he just thought he'd drop by and watch the game. And so we chatted for about 5 or 10 minutes about the game. I didn't ask him a damn thing about the Patriots because he was going to tell me anyway. So it was one of those things where you see these guys out of their normal area, and they are. It sounds silly to say it. They're really just human. Who'd have thunk it, right? But yeah, it's really cool that how some of them have that personality. I work with Jerry Glanville, who had too much personality and not enough coaching ability, because that happens too. We
Yeah,
find that.
that'll be a problem.
And then there's guys like your buddy Cliff Kingsbury, who, for reasons known only to the owners, they glom onto a college coach thinking he's going to be able to take them somewhere that they haven't been taken before. And that transition doesn't work often.
I think that's just a Bidwill thing.
No, in fairness, there are other people, who,
Oh, others do it, but Bidwell's been doing it since.
well, we could just say in pure honesty, he's done it because it's cheap. You can get a college coach to come into pros cheaper than you can get a pro coach to move over and take your job. But that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, and then we get Cliff. What was it? Cliff Kingsbury was going to go to one of the islands, and then now he's the offensive coordinator someplace. I forget where.
Is he? He was in Thailand.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was Thailand, right? Okay. No, he's an offensive coordinator.
Oh my God, who actually? I didn't even see that.
I'll tell you what. Talk a
That
little bit
guy's
about
out of my
soccer.
mind.
Talk a little soccer on, and I'll play research department and find out.
Oh, okay. We'll talk some soccer. There's a few games today. Yeah. So in the Premier League, here I'll drop some free plays. So this Bournemouth Brighton game, Brighton's coming off that 3-3 draw against Brentford. I don't know if I want to trust them on the road in this spot necessarily. I mean, Bournemouth is bad, but they've been playing very well at home, and their defense has been good at home. They're not really giving up goals. So if Brighton's going to win this match, I would say they only win it by a goal, and the line is very accurate at -188 right now. But that being said, I'm going to take Bournemouth plus the 1. I think they can come away with at least a draw, maybe even get a result here, get a win somehow. But yeah, I think they can get a result in this game.
That's I'm right here. I'm just checking one thing just to make sure I'm right. I think he's the offensive coordinator of the Texans.
Oh, the Texans. Okay, good luck. Have fun down there, bud. Yeah, another play I like is the draw in this Chelsea Liverpool game. The last 5 straight between the two have all drawn. The last 3 have been 0-0 draws. So yeah, Liverpool's a team that struggles. They've been struggling lately, but they struggle on the road heavily. They've only scored. They had that 1 goal against Man City. That's been their only goal in their last 4 away matches. Chelsea's been it's been a struggle of their own this season, but here at home, they still play well defensively. I think they can hold Liverpool to a draw here. This is a very important match for both, so it's hard to see either really getting away in this one.
No, I'm wrong. He interviewed for the Texas job, and thus far he was not offered it yet.
And went back to Thailand.
Maybe he just likes Thai food.
Maybe.
Which in Thailand they just call food.
Yeah.
But anyway, like the poutine recipes. So yeah, there's that. And so you're dropping some knowledge on the soccer side today.
Yeah, some free plays. Go draw in the Chelsea Liverpool, Bournemouth +1. I like the draw in Leeds Nottingham as well.
Listen to this man. He made money yesterday for you. And away we go, right?
Yeah. And then baseball, I mean, the card's not great tonight. I was leaning towards the Pirates. I think Contreras is better than Pivetta. So
it's going to be hard to say this, but it's almost. I think Boston's pitching staff is worse than Toronto's.
Yeah, it's bad, and especially in Fenway Park, right? Because it's just
what you want that wall out there, and then you want that pole, the pesky pole where you can pull it. Definitely. You want to play. The last thing you want to do is play long ball and have pitchers who can't keep the ball on the ground.
And they got rid of all of their starters. Eovaldi's on the Rangers now, so you bring in Corey Kluber and all these other guys. It's like good luck. They got to learn how to pitch in that park now.
They're not sinker ball pitchers. Those guys are fly ball pitchers. You don't want fly balls in that ballpark. It just ain't gonna happen. Like a little league game.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, I think they're. I don't know if they were still at home yesterday, but they were at home because they were playing the Pirates, and the Pirates beat them.
Yeah, them and the Blue Jays. Terrible pitching.
Ugh.
And the Orioles, honestly, you could throw them in there
too.
I
mean, in fairness, the Orioles, I never expected the Orioles to have a decent pitching staff. So,
that's why
no great expectations on that.
When people told me they had the Jays to win the division, I was like, "Are you serious right now?" With that pitching, come on.
Well,
they're 1-3. What are they? 1-3, 1-4.
Yeah, they're 1-4. 1-3. 1-4 tonight.
1-4 tonight.
Yeah, it's like the Nationals. You watch and go, okay, who's pitching tonight? And you take a look and you go, okay, I'll watch the pregame show and then turn it off because there's no way this is going to be victory tonight. I swear to God, when they had the announced the lineup for the season and the starting lineup, I could name 2 guys on the team.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, either I haven't been doing my homework or something happened here. Because definitely, if you are going to Nationals Park, you will need a program. You don't know who these people are. And the more you find out about them, the more you're like, oh, God, it's going to be a long season. And they're in the midst of being sold, but they have to wait till their TV contract deal has been resolved in court. So they're on pause at this moment. So that means, the Rays could go 5-0 tonight. And for the first time, they're 4-0. So how about the first time 5-0? Pretty good shot on that one. I don't know who's even pitching for the Rays tonight.
It's the Fleming.
Fleming, okay.
I think
he's not bad. Let me see real quick.
I can check right now. Yeah, it's Fleming and Chad Kuhl.
Chad Kuhl.
Yeah, from the, I think he was on the Rockies last year.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. One of the headlines on MLB.com is Orioles need pen work, or is it too early?
Yeah, you know what? They were supposed to start Tyler Wells today, and they had to throw him out of the bullpen yesterday. He pitched 5 innings in that game. They shut out the Rangers for the 2-0 win,
Mhm.
but their starter today was undecided for the longest time, and they just announced while we were basically right before the show that it was going to be Kyle Gibson.
Okay. Would they move him up a slot?
Yeah, he was supposed to pitch tomorrow. So
Right.
this I'm telling you, this pitching for the Orioles is a mess right now. They had to throw a starter out to pitch 5 innings yesterday
Okay,
out of the
so
bullpen.
you're moving a guy up in the rotation less than a week into the season.
Yeah, and he pitched already too. He pitched
Right.
the opening day.
Right.
So
Right. So I'm thinking, what? Okay. That's whacked. Okay.
yeah, and
That's
Tyler
okay.
Wells would have gave him a chance to win today too if they could have just figured out how to win yesterday without him. But that
That
was
would have no. I mean, what is what's the thought process of bringing one of your starting pitchers out of the bullpen, knowing he's going to supposed to start the next day?
you're not starting tomorrow. Get out there. We need to win.
Well, there was a time when, and they're on the road, right? They're in Texas.
Yeah, and he pitched 5 innings, so he basically basically started. Bradish, I think, pitched like 1.2.
Right. So okay, so he got a quality start on a day when he wasn't supposed to pitch.
Yeah, gave up no runs too.
Well,
He was great, and
so
I had him pegged. I was going to take the Orioles today with him against Heaney, and they ruined that. They ruined everything.
they
Gibson is
always do that.
trash.
The Orioles always ruin everything. Don't you know that?
Yeah, and I'm definitely not taking the Orioles with Gibson on the mound. Ridiculous.
Nope, that would not be a good plan. Is he pitching as Jacob DeGrom? Is DeGrom pitched? They pitched for the Rangers against the Orioles yet?
No, he
So.
goes tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, today
There's
it's
your
Heaney.
first. There's your first five right there. That's your first five winners tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jacob DeGrom
Well,
against.
well, now Kyle Gibson was supposed to start tomorrow, so like,
Who knows?
who knows who's starting tomorrow?
That's one of the things where the manager asks the pitching coach, "Who's going to start tomorrow?" And he looks down the row at the guys and goes, "Any volunteers? Any the Orioles might have a bullpen starting lineup, starting pitching lineup. It may be our lineup is we're going to throw a starter and then we're going to go 3 innings with him and then 3 innings with somebody else and take us to the bullpen, which we evidently, given to what they said on Major League Baseball.com, just on the headline, the Orioles are already looking for relief pitching 5 games into the season. This is something you might have wanted to work out in spring training. Just saying. Don't come north if you can't, if you don't have a bullpen. Oh man, that's they put the dis and dysfunctional. I gotta say, but it is what it is. So, my friend, in hopes of getting you out of here in time for the 30-minute mark, which we've already broken by 8 minutes, just wanted to check and see if there's any last thoughts before we go. We got. Did we get all the questions? Is there a question there?
There is one. Yes, there is one, and I totally agree, Foxy. I think they both should have got a red card. Send Kane out of there. Absolute trash that was. But I'm happy. I had the under in the game. I was with you on the Everton double chance, so that was good. I don't know who would have trusted Tottenham in that spot. Can't trust that team on the road.
Tell you something. I'm pulling an audible here just for a second. Tomorrow, if we can, let's talk about the Masters.
Yeah, that one's. I've actually been looking into it a bit, so might know some stuff for sure.
You got some live golfers coming to play in the tournament. So yeah, let's have a little fun and talk a little golf tomorrow. With everything else, we're not going to lay out anything. We'll be there, but the Masters, absolutely, definitely. What I missed? Well, you missed most of the show, but that's
the whole
okay.
show.
You have any questions for us before we have to go? We'll be happy to entertain questions. Anybody in the class? Questions? Just type it in there. There you go. We're going well. Thank you very much for asking. We appreciate that. We're getting our Twitchers in here. So that's good. That's good. All right. Oh, do you guys know? Okay, Bernard Byrne. We do. And we like him. And we would like to be him. There's nothing better than a rich Irish banker. That would be cool. Foxy, U.S. Masters. Any decent shit? Win.
I hear some people liking Cameron Smith, but I think the big thing with the Masters is you want to take a guy who's got good iron play, not someone who's going to drill it 400 yards off the tee. Those are never guys that are going to do well on this kind of course. It's very tight to play the fairways here. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, the thing with the television doesn't show you, because it can't, about Augusta. It's built on a hill. Okay. So
that's why the greens. That's why you see the guys aiming at the top of the green, and you're like, "Where the pin's the other way? Why is he aiming there?" And then all of a sudden,
it's just going to roll. So there's that, and because it's on a hill, you get a lot of crosswind. So, to Amadeus's point about the long drivers aren't necessarily, rewarded, for lack of a better way of putting it. On the
you
map,
literally need like an open style course, big fairways for those
you
400
do.
drivers.
And the fairways are wide at the Masters, but to your point, good iron play is really crucial there, because there's enough opportunity to play a good short game that if you do well with your irons and your putting, that'll negate how screwed up you are with the drive. So, yeah, iron play and putting will get you a long way in Augusta. When they quote unquote tiger proofed it by making it longer, they didn't make it any easier or any harder. It just turned out they just made it longer. And the thing is, I know Tiger's playing. The concern I would have is I don't think he will. I think he will make the cut. I do. My problem with Tiger is he's been practicing and playing golf, in Florida, which is where he lives. It's if you have leg trouble and you're gonna walk Augusta and it's on a hill, 4 days of that's a long way. You're going to get your steps in if you're somebody who's, having a heart issue. You're going to get your steps in. So that what concerns me with Tiger. He's 47 years old. His back's a little whacked out, and clearly his knees, and legs were surgically repaired. So that would concern me about anyone thinking Tiger might put on a green jacket at the end of the weekend. Could happen, but I certainly don't see it happening. Okay. Well, any last words from anybody in the crowd here? Going once, going twice. Well, Amadeus, thanks, buddy. We will be back tomorrow. We'll talk. Maybe Sean will end up here dropping by. You never know. And until that time, got to get to the. Do we guys? I'm not in Fortnite. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Call of Duty. You want to be in Fortnite?
No.
Okay. Just checking. But that's very nice. Thanks for offering. So I'll tell you what. Come back tomorrow. We'll talk. And who knows? We may find that Sean wants to be in Fortnite. Okay. Have a nice day, everybody. For Amadeus, I'm Jim. Take care.